Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you a really simple trick that helped me learn my scales across the entire fretboard in any key super fast. So let's get into the lesson. Alright, so what scale do I recommend learning first as a beginner on guitar? The answer to that is just the pentatonic scale. And I know that might seem a little cliche and kind of generic, but this is a really easy shape to learn. You can basically just look at it and have it memorized. And the trick that I'm about to show you will work in any key, but for this example I'm just going to be using A minor pentatonic scale. But say for instance if you wanted to shift this up to like an E minor scale, you would just take this entire pattern right here and just shift it up to the 12th fret. This will work for any major or minor key as long as you're using the pentatonic scale. So let's get into the trick. Alright, so we're going to take a look at this first shape right here that I just showed you, and what we're going to do is we're going to learn the shape directly below it, and that's right here. Again, this is a very easy shape to remember. So here it is on the fretboard. This is this shape right here, and then the shape below it is right here. So notice now how these two shapes share these notes on the 5th fret. Alright, they're both the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to take both of these shapes and make them one big shape on the fretboard, right? So we'll kind of go in and out between these two, just make it one big shape. And then what we're going to do, this is where it kind of starts getting interesting, is we're going to shift everything up 12 frets on the guitar, okay? And just by doing that, look at how much of the fretboard we've already covered, just by doing these two shapes and shifting it up 12 frets. All we have left is this little shape right here in the green box right here. So basically, we can learn the entire pentatonic scale in just these three shapes, right? Now I know some of you might be asking yourself, a lot of beginners would probably be asking, hey, well what about these notes up here and these notes down here? Well, all those notes are actually in this green box right here, so that takes care of that. Just these three shapes, and you'll be able to have the entire pentatonic scale across the entire fretboard. Now, some of the more advanced players may be thinking, well, hey, there's 5 notes in the pentatonic scale, right? So there's 5 shapes, 5 modes. And you're absolutely correct. So it is still important to learn all 5 of those shapes. This is just kind of a shortcut to help you learn all 5 of those shapes, essentially, right? So these are the 3 shapes that we just looked at. 3 very easy shapes to learn. You can basically just look at them and have them memorized. Now, these 2 other shapes right here are kind of combinations of all these other ones. So, the 7th and 8th fret on this shape is the 7th and same notes on the 7th and 8th fret on this shape right here. And same goes for the 9th and 10th fret on these 2 shapes. So, yes, it is still important to learn all 5 shapes, but just learning these 3 will be a shortcut to help you learn the entire fretboard and getting to know all 5 of these shapes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the minor pentatonic as a kind of a skeleton to help us learn other scales, because most of the notes that are within the minor pentatonic scale, or just pentatonic scale in general I should say, are in other scales. So let's take a look at what I mean here. Alright, so here's our pentatonic scale. Just that first position that I showed you, and what we're going to do is we're just going to take a look at just one octave of it, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes of the scale, then everything repeats itself, and this is the octave, right? If we add just 2 more notes, okay, these 2 notes right here in blue and green, we get the minor scale, 1 octave of the minor scale, okay? So all of these notes are going to repeat itself over the entire fretboard. So really the only difference between the A minor scale and the A minor pentatonic scale is just those 2 extra notes, okay? Alright, so now that we know that just by adding 2 extra notes to the pentatonic scale we can get the minor scale, let's try to do that trick that I showed you with the pentatonic scale and the 3 shapes. So let's add the 2 notes that we just talked about, and we're going to take these 2 shapes right here, make one big shape, shift it up 12 frets, and then we're just left over with this shape right here. Now, this is nice, but I do realize that it is kind of messy. And what I mean by that is because Some of these strings have 2 notes per string, some have 3 notes per string, so it kind of makes it a little awkward to learn, whereas like the 3 notes per string method is just always 3 notes per string. And obviously this doesn't lay out all 7 different modes, and you should absolutely learn that. Like I said, with the pentatonic scale, there's 5 of them, 5 shapes. You should definitely learn all 7 of these for the minor scale, but this is just kind of a shortcut to help you get there. Okay, so what you want to do when you're looking at your 3 notes per strings shapes is what you want to do is kind of look for that pentatonic shape within it. So here's an example on the 5th fret, that A minor pentatonic shape, and then we're going to find that shape within this 3 note per string shape. Obviously it's missing these 2 notes, but they are here, and I already went over that. All the notes in the pentatonic scale are in the minor scale, so they're there. It's just how it's laid out on 3 notes per string that's not going to be shown. So look for the pentatonic shapes within the minor scale. Alright, so now what we're going to do is use our minor scale as a reference scale to help us learn even more scales. Okay, so typically the only difference between the minor scale and any other scale is we usually just change 1 or 2 notes. So here we have a instance of the A minor scale in 1 octave. I already learned this. And if we take this note right here and just shift it up to this fret right here, we get the A harmonic minor in 1 octave. So the only difference between the A minor and the A harmonic minor is just shifting that 1 note up. Typically when I'm playing in a harmonic minor or just a harmonic minor in general, I just always think to myself, okay, I'm going to play the note right below the root note, right? And then I have harmonic minor. We can do this for the Phrygian mode also. The only difference between A minor and the Phrygian mode is taking this note right here and just shifting it up to here, right? So from here to here. Real simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to, when we want to learn a scale, what we want to do is we want to think to ourselves, how is this scale different from our minor scale? And then we will learn that new scale based off of that. Now sometimes you're going to have to maybe change 1 or 2 notes in this one, and this one is actually, I'm kind of combining the harmonic minor and the Phrygian, and I'm getting this new scale here. I don't remember the name of it. I didn't have time to put it in here yet, but I think it's like the Hungarian minor or something like that. But again, I'm because I learned the minor scale all the way up and down the neck, and I know that it's easy to change to harmonic minor and it's easy to change to Phrygian. If I combine those 2 right here, I get a completely new scale, and that's easy to learn too. Like I said, sometimes you're going to have to change more than 1 note, but typically if you just change 1 note, you get a whole new scale. So using your minor as a reference will help you learn other scales even quicker. Alright, so let's do a quick recap on what we've learned so far. First, we took this first shape of the pentatonic scale, and then we looked at this the shape right below it, right? And what we did was we just made this one big shape, and then we took that and we shifted it up 12 frets. And that alone covered a lot of the fretboard. Then all we were left with was this little shape right here. And basically I said with these 3 shapes we could master the entire pentatonic scale all the way across the fretboard. Then what we did was we added these 2 extra notes to learn the minor scale all the way up and down the entire fretboard. Once we learned the minor scale, what we did was we looked at our minor scale as a reference scale and saw how if we just change 1 or 2 notes, we can get a completely different scale. Alright, so be sure to save this video by hitting the like button. It'll save it to your like video playlist. And also check out some of these other videos here. The order of scales part 1 and 2, I go over other scales and how I relate them to the minor scale. I believe those are all in the key of E minor though, so not that big of a difference though. And then you can take this technique and you can improvise over other backing tracks and whatnot. And I have a bunch of backing tracks available on this channel. Just go ahead and check those out. And of course, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, so please do so. See you guys later. you.